Welcome to Macro Pulse from Global Notes by JP, where we decode every major data point from inflation to jobs to Fed decisions and show you what really drives markets. The Fed just made its first rate cut in months, 25 basis points, bringing rates down to 4%, 4.25%. That's the headline. But the real signal isn't in Powell's statement, it's in the dot plot. And one shocking outlier at 288%. The dot plot maps every Fed official's rate forecast. Most dots for end 2025 cluster between 3.5% and 4.25%. Steady, cautious, signaling only gradual cuts. But then there's one dot way down at 2.88%. An extreme outlier, and analysts believe it belongs to Trump's newest Fed governor, Miran. One dot doesn't change Fed policy today. The median still points near 4%. But this outlier matters because it reflects Miran's philosophy. In his confirmation, he argued the Fed has a third mandate: financial stability. That may sound harmless, but in practice, it means if markets stumble, the Fed should cut. If asset prices wobble, the Fed should step in. That shifts the Fed's focus away from the public and toward asset holders. Right now, the 2.88% dot is alone. But if more appointees arrive with the same view, the outlier becomes the median. And once the median shifts, the Fed's independence is gone. We've already seen the incentive to stack the Fed. Fed Governor Lisa Cook was nearly removed over mortgage technicalities, issues experts said were often clerical. Meanwhile, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent had nearly identical mortgage pledges years ago with no consequences. The difference wasn't the paperwork, it was who held power. That pattern shows how technicalities can be used to push out dissenters while allies stay untouched, creating strong incentives to fill the Fed with loyalists. The Fed's independence is its credibility. It's designed to serve the public by balancing jobs and inflation. But if the dot plot turns into a political scoreboard, and if a third mandate makes every market sell off a policy trigger, then the Fed stops being a guardrail for the economy and becomes a safety net for investors. That's when independence ends. Not with one decision, but with a quiet tilt towards serving assets instead of people. Today's Fed cut to 4.25% is the headline, but the Miran dot at 2.88% is the real warning. Because if outliers become the norm, the Fed stops being the Fed. This is Macro Pulse from Global Notes by JP. Subscribe if you want to see past the headlines and catch the real signals behind every shift in the data.